Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON founder Charya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parikacharya Ashtadarshi Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Mahārāja Prabhupada ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopana Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan ki jai. Shri Mayapur Dham ki jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai. Ganga Mai ki jai. Yamuna Mai ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Tulsi Devi ki jai. Natakoti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Gaura Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Prabhupada. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devam Saraswatam Vyasam Tato Jayam Yurdayet Nasta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavati Sevaya Bhagavat Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this morning we'll be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 5, Text 53. Yata Trivargam Gurubir Atmane Upashikshitam Na Sadhu Mene Chakshiksham Dwaramo Pavarin Nitam Yata Trivargam Gurubir Atmane Upashikshitam Nasadu Mane Tachchiksham Dwandaramo Pavarnirnitam Yata Trivargam Gurubir Atmane Upashikshitam Nasadu Mene Chakshiksham Dwandaramo Pavarnitam Yata Trivargam Gurubir Atmane Upashikshitam Nasadu Mane Tachchiksham Dwandaramo Pavarinitam
Yatativargam Guruvir Atmane Upashikshitam Nasadu Mene Tachchiksham Dwandaramo Pavarnitam Yatativargam Guruvir Atmane Upashikshitam Nasadu Mene Tachchiksham Dwandaramo Pavarnitam Yatativargam Guruvir Atmane Upashikshitam Nasadu
Yata as Trivargam, the three processes: religion, economic development, and sense gratification. Guru Bihi, by the teachers. Atmane, unto himself. Prahlāda Mahārāja. Upashikshitam, instructed. Na, not. Sadhu, really good. Mine, he considered. Tat Shiksham, the education in that. Dvanva Arama, by persons taking pleasure in duality, in material enmity and friendship. Upavarnitam, which is prescribed. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The teachers Shanda and Amarka instructed Prahlāda Mahārāja in the three kinds of material advancement, called religion, economic development, and sense gratification. Prahlāda, however, being situated above such instructions, did not like them, for such instructions are based on the duality of worldly affairs, which involve one in a materialistic way of life, marked by birth, death, old age, and disease. Purport. The entire world is interested in the materialistic way of life. Indeed, practically 99.9% of the people in the three worlds are uninterested in liberation or spiritual education. Only the devotees of the Lord, headed by such personalities as Prahlāda Mahārāja and Nārada Muni, are interested in their real education of spiritual life. One cannot understand the principles of religion while staying on the material platform. Therefore, one must follow these great personalities, as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 6.3.20. Swayambur Nārada Shambhu Kumara Kapilo Manu Prahlāda Janako Bhishmo Balirvya Vaya Sakir Vayam. One must follow in the footsteps of such personalities as Lord Brahma, Nārada, Lord Shiva, Kapila, Manu, the Kumaras, Prahlāda Mahārāja, Bhishma, Janaka, Bali Mahārāja, Shukadev Goswami, and Yamaraj. Those interested in spiritual life should follow Prahlāda Mahārāja in rejecting the education of religion, economic development, and sense gratification. One should be interested in spiritual education. Therefore, the Krishna consciousness movement is spreading all over the world, following the footsteps of Prahlāda Mahārāja, who did not like any of the materialistic education he received from his teachers. Om Jnana Timrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaisnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitamtam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamsha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vancha Kalpatriyubhyascha Kripasanibhyevacha Patithanam Pavinebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So you'll have to excuse me. I'm a little ill, not too ill. I was distributing books at Balboa Park, and there was this Mataji that I was trying to get to the table. And she said, you know what, I'll get a book from you. Rain or shine, you guys are always here. So even when it's cold and rainy, we still go out there. And so a few days ago, it was raining, and there's a spot where we set up. It was very, very cold, and I wasn't prepared. Every direction, the wind was blowing. So behind me, there was cold air, left, right, and in front. It was very cold. So Please forgive me. So material advancement, a real devotee, they're not so interested in this, whether it's in religion, economic development, or sense gratification. And religion in today's world, it's seen as a bad thing now. Because a lot of people, they commit sinful activities or abominable activities in the name of religion. I remember growing up, I was really interested in religion, coming from the Philippines. You know, it's considered to be a religious country. So I always believed in God, but when I came to the States, I saw a lot of hypocrisy. You know, when I went to a Christian church, I mean, there's a lot of wonderful Christians. But I remember for 1 hour, people were feeling very holy, right? It was a atmosphere of brotherhood, you know, loving God, serving God. And then after the sermon is done, people get in their car, light up a cigarette, and they start honking at people. So I was thinking, you know, if people really, Srila Prabhupada, he says, if you love God, you love everybody. And so we should see the world in that light. So religion has a bad reputation now. But Srila Prabhupada, he says that human life begins when he accepts religion. There is a difference between human beings and animals. And Srila Prabhupada, he would say, you will never find a cat or a dog go into a temple, a church, or a mosque to try to understand his relationship with God. Human beings, we have that ability. We're given the higher intelligence. And economic development, a lot of religions, this is what they focus on. And Dravida Prabhu, he mentioned prosperity gospel, right? And yeah, these so-called priests or preachers, they take advantage of the innocent people. Give me a donation and then God will bless you, right? Dravida Prabhu said he plants the seed and then it sprouts. So economic development, everyone is concerned with this also. I need a more comfortable living space. I need a newer car. Not only that, but to show everyone that I'm successful in material life. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 12th canto, it describes that one is considered to be successful if he can only maintain his family. That's it. So, but Prabhupada, he would emphasize that religion and education means to develop good qualities. Tolerance, patience, not only that, but to really develop our love for God. Srila Prabhupada, he and his disciples, I was watching a few days ago, early interviews with devotees, and they would always ask, what is the difference between Krishna consciousness and the other religions? And so His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami, he said that Krishna consciousness is already there, but it's dormant in the heart of every living entity. And Krishna consciousness is the process of reawakening that. Just like association of the devotees. Without the devotees, we don't know what is what and who is who. I remember asking questions, like what is the goal of life? And a lot of the people that I encountered, they were telling me material things. There was no such thing as loving God, serving God. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada, in the purport, he says a very beautiful line. He says that the highest perfection of religion is attaining devotional service. People have this idea of God, you know, and every scripture they talk about how this is not our real home. After this life, there's a world where we should go. Heaven, the kingdom of God, paradise. So every religion teaches that we're not meant to stay here. But foolish people, due to lack of knowledge, they consider this to be the permanent residence. So we don't accept that. And so economic development is what motivates people to pursue religion. Not only that, but they want an easy religion. And Srila Prabhupada would call this cheating religion. Prabhupada describes cheating religion means you are propagating God consciousness, but you don't really know who God is. Just like when you ask people, what is God's name? And then they just say God. But God is not a name, it's a title, meaning the greatest. And Srila Prabhupada, he would use example of a president. The president is the head of the state, but behind this title is a personal person. So Krishna is that supreme being, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachit Ananda Vigraha, Nadir Govinda, Sarva Karna Karna. That Krishna is the cause of all causes. There's no cause beyond him. Not only that, but he has a spiritual body that's full of eternity, bliss, and knowledge. And when we talk about God, we should have knowledge of God. It's not just... I was speaking to a Muslim Mataji, and she was saying how Allah, He doesn't have companions. And I was thinking, this is what makes this world nice, is relationships, friendships, things like that. So they view Allah as being the only person there. No companions, no friendship, no mother, no... It's actually the opposite of Krishna consciousness. Krishna has his elder brother, Balaram, his sister, Subhadra, mother and father, Nanda Mahārāja, and Yashoda Mata. So Krishna, for devotees, we see him as a very personal person, someone that we can approach. But other philosophies, they see God as just some light, impersonal. And so how can we render service to this light if he has no form? Yes, God, Krishna, he doesn't possess any material qualities. He's pure spirit. But he comes in this world in such a way where we can see him, we can render service to him. And everyone's also concerned with sense gratification. How can I enjoy? I love Srila Prabhupada's example of the difference between love and lust. Lust means my own sense gratification, whereas love is meant for Krishna's sense pleasure, gratification. And here, Prahlāda Mahārāja, he did not like the instructions of his teachers. Raise your hand if you like going to school. You went to Gurukul. So, yeah, I couldn't wait till the bell rang. I can go home, you know. The stuff that they teach is fine, but how will we apply it in our everyday life? That's the biggest drawback. And Srila Prabhupada, he would describe material education as slaughterhouses. They don't teach what is God, what is the soul, and what is the ultimate goal for the human being. They teach us how to be good materialists. And Hiranyakashipu is that example. He wanted his son Prahlāda to carry the business. I remember my spiritual master, he would say that in India and also here, he would find those buildings or stores, you know, like Ramapati and Sons, you know, Amogalila and Sons. So everyone wants to carry their family tradition, and sometimes the child, they don't want to carry that, you know. They are interested in other things, more important things, spiritual education. So here, Prahlāda Mahārāja, he rejected this materialistic way of life because he was taught by a bona fide spiritual teacher, Nārada Muni. And in the purport, it shows the rarity of a devotee. 99.9%. 1% are devotees. How many are there in California? Does anyone know? Huh? People. Okay. Okay. 100 million, let's say that. But who is here listening to Srimad Bhagavatam, either in person or on the internet? So the devotees, we are rare in such a way where we want to try to understand Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna describes out of many thousands of men, one may endeavor for perfection. And out of those that achieve perfection, hardly one knows me, Krishna, in truth. So we should give ourselves a pat in the back, you know. And to dedicate one's life to spreading Krishna consciousness is a very honorable thing. So many times I've heard people on Sankirtan, they always say, thank you for being here. And a lot of people, they also say, I can't do what you do, you know. to try to help people. Srila Prabhupada, he would say, this is the best welfare work for the world. To understand what is my identity in this world. And speaking of that, I remember in high school, people go through their phases, I'm a hardcore rocker, I'm a drug dealer, I'm a gangbanger, And then throughout one's life, they change this mentality, they mature. And then they give up these silly ideas. And then, but to be situated in one's eternal nature, Jivera Swarupoi Krishnera Nichadas. The living entity, constitutional position is to be an eternal servant of Krishna. I remember someone asked me, if you can summarize Krishna consciousness, what would it be? So I said service. And he asked me, how does service pertain to... So I explained that the nature of the soul must serve someone. We serve a wife, the wife serves the husband, we serve the child. And when we're working, we serve somebody, someone higher above us. And then Prabhupada, he would say, if we don't want to serve anybody, we get a pet cat or a pet dog and we serve that. So by nature, we have to serve someone. But the perfection of service is devotional service to Krishna. This is actually what makes the soul happy. I've been distributing His Holiness Devamrita Swami's book, Hiding in Unnatural Happiness. I ask people that come to my table, what do you think about this title? And they say it's just intriguing. So I ask them, what do you think unnatural happiness means? And it's nice for us to get them to think a little bit outside of the material realm. So they describe how unnatural happiness means materialistic living. So I said, do you fall in this category? And most of them, if they're honest, they say, I can see myself pursuing this form of happiness. So I tell them, you take this book, you spend 5 minutes reading through it, and you come back and tell me what you think. Would you like to give it a chance? And then I love Vijay's method. He stands back after he says that, gives them a chance to process that and to, think about what I'm doing in life. Do I want to make a difference in my everyday boring life, or do I do something about it? So after a few moments, they'll say, yeah, I would like to take it. So I say, great. So they ask me, how much for the book? And I tell them we ask for a donation. Most people give enough for the printing cost. And they ask me, how much can you give? And I'll usually relate to something, like if they're wearing a True Religion shirt or some sort like that. I say, well, if you're wearing a True Religion shirt, most people give $500. So they start laughing, and I say, no, we're not here to make money, profit, or business. We want to share this knowledge. And they can see the sincerity, and then they give a nice donation. And then I give them another set. I say, you have friends? They say, yeah. So I say, give this to one of your friends. They appreciate it. These books, they change lives. And so spiritual education is actually what's needed in the world. It's not how to make money. It's not how to be the CEO of a company. It's not to get any of these material things, but to understand our spiritual nature and what should we be doing. Sambandha Abhidayan Prayojana. Who am I? What is the process and what is the goal? And so we should follow in the footsteps of Prahlāda Mahārāja. Prahlāda Mahārāja, he was such a great devotee. He's one of the Mahājans mentioned in the verse here, because he taught devotional service even to his demoniac school friends. Imagine trying to teach God consciousness to kids, who would listen to, So anyway, and to pursue spiritual life, it makes a person rare. There's a verse or a saying that the path less traversed is, you guys know the next line? The path less traversed is, I forgot, but it means the path that's less followed is usually a meaningful one, a more purposeful one. And so I took some notes here. Srila Prabhupada, he was asked, how many people are in your movement? And Srila Prabhupada said, what is the use of billions of stars if one moon can sufficiently illuminate the darkness? So Srila Prabhupada, he was not after followers. He wanted sincere people to take up Krishna consciousness. And a lot of people, they're compared to glowworms, you know. They have some knowledge, and in the light, they might sparkle a little bit. But when the sun is up, you can hardly see the worm. You step on it, you know. So scientists, materialistic people, they may have some knowledge, but their knowledge is imperfect because it's coming from their own imperfect senses. And I know this has been quoted a lot, but Srila Prabhupada, he would say, don't be surprised at those that leave, but be surprised at those that stay. Krishna conscious devotees. So yeah, Maya, she's very strong. As soon as you leave the temple, the mind, the eyes start looking at things. You know, we start listening to music, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you forget about Krishna. But this is the thankless task of Durga. She wants us to forget Krishna. And she's actually empowered by Krishna to do this for those that want to forget Krishna. And in the Nectar of Devotion, Srila Rupa Goswami describes how easy Krishna can award liberation. But see, here it doesn't mention liberation. People have no idea what liberation is. People have no idea that they're on this endless cycle of repeated birth and death. So one who's aspiring for liberation, they don't know what real liberation is. So Krishna can award material benedictions, he can award liberation, but it's described that he hardly gives devotional service. You have to earn it. And Krishna can only be understood by devotional service. Bhaktiya mam abhijananti. So we can't understand Krishna with our blood material senses, but if we can render service to Krishna, then we can realize Krishna. I remember Pavamana Prabhu. He was inquiring, what is devotional service? So someone took him to the kitchen. And then this person said, show him what devotional service is. And then he showed him the pots, you know. It's devotional. But see, it is devotional service. It's service towards Krishna. And then Pavamana Prabhu, he understood what devotional service is. But actually, one who's advanced, they don't make a distinction whether this is my service or that is my service. They see everything as Krishna's service. Whether it's book distribution, prasadam distribution, harinam, preaching, Krishna lounge, everything can be used in Krishna's service. And how rare is it? Srila Prabhupada was being interviewed by Sandy Nixon. And Srila Prabhupada explained that just like universities are meant for first-class students, God consciousness is meant for first-class human beings. So to be a devotee is very nice, actually. And not only that, but we can learn to have compassion for the whole world. Those that haven't even heard of Krishna's holy name, we can remind them by chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was asking Mahārāja Thakur, how will the non-moving entities be delivered? And Mahārāja Thakur, he said, just by hearing the holy name, they can benefit from it. So what I do on book distribution is that I have a speaker, and in the background I play the mantra. So those that pass by, they derive some benefit from it. And sometimes people will look around, where's that coming from? And then when they see the speaker, they see me, and I just smile. You know. So we can do simple things like this for the people. And I'll end with a few Sankirtan stories. I met this young man yesterday. His name was Zaid. and he was from India, but he was raised here in the West. He spoke perfect English. And so he was asking me a lot of nice questions. He asked me, what is the difference between this Bhagavad Gita and other Bhagavad, because he understood there was many editions of the Bhagavad Gita. And I said, this Bhagavad Gita made devotees, whereas other books they did not. Because they made their own interpretation or commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita. Whereas Srila Prabhupada, he's presenting the messages of the Bhagavad Gita without a chance of concocting our own ideas, And so I told him that this Bhagavad Gita is compared to be gold, and the other Bhagavad Gita is compared to be iron or plastic. And he started laughing. And he said, what is this book about? And he pointed at every book that was on the table. And he was so interested, he got almost all of the books. A stack, Hiding in Unnatural Happiness, A Journey of Self-Discovery, Bhagavad Gita, and also Coming Back. And he said, I always wondered about reincarnation. And I said, read this book, it'll change your mind. And he was very grateful, and he gave a wonderful donation. And then before he left, I said, what's your name? And he said, my name is Zaid. He said, what's your name? And I said, my name is Govardhan. So I gave him my contact number, and I told him, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. And so questions mean that they're interested. And like what Balaram Prabhu was saying, some people, they're just skimming the surface, externally. What does that marking on your forehead mean? Why do you wear saffron? Why do you shave your head? Earlier in Krishna Lounge on Thursday, there was this couple, and he asked the questions, that they asked. Why do you shave your head? How often do you shave your head? And anyway, he asked me, "What do you guys follow any 4 regulative, principles?" I said, "There's 4." So I said, "There's no meat eating, no meat, fish, and eggs." And then he said, "What's the 4th one?" And I said, "No, this is just the first one, And so he was saying, "What? That itself is hard to give up, because growing up in the West, you go to McDonald's, there's a burger there, So I said, no, that's just the first. I said, the second one is no intoxication. We don't drink, we don't smoke. We don't drink tea or coffee that has caffeine in it. I told him we like to stay sober-minded. And I told him we don't gamble. And then I said, the 4th one, don't be shocked. So I said, we don't have illicit relationships, illicit sex. And he was actually appreciating these 4 principles. He was doing IT, so he was a very intelligent person. So I asked him, what do you think about these 4 regulative principles? And he said, I like them, but it's hard to follow. And I said, I thought the same thing, but when you get into it with practice, you can follow it regularly. And so I invited him, please keep coming to this Christian Lounge, ask nice questions, and you can make new friends. And so asking questions is a very important thing when it comes to knowledge, because knowledge is the foundation of, you can say, spiritual life. But real education means to understand our relationship with Krishna. There was a elder man, elderly people, I've been getting them by asking what is philosophy. Because, when you're older, you tend to ask questions about life, So this man, he was walking, and I can tell he wasn't gonna pay attention to me. So I said, excuse me, do you know what philosophy means? And he said, philosophy? I love philosophy. He came back, walking backwards, like that. He said, you got me there, So I gave him the journey of self-discovery. And I said, if you look towards the back, he answers these very fundamental and essential questions. Who am I? Why am I suffering? And what is the meaning of life? And he said, I love these questions. And I said, have you ever thought about it? He said, I think about them all the time. And I said, I knew you were a thoughtful person. And he smiled, So he said, can I give you a donation? Sometimes the conversation is so sweet, you don't even have to do any work. they automatically want to give something for this knowledge. So I said, we just humbly ask for a donation, whatever you can give from the heart. And I said, you have a big heart. So he gave, he gave $10 for the book. And I told him, thank you so much for your time. And he said, it was wonderful speaking to you. And then there was a family yesterday. They came to my table, and I said, excuse me, do you like philosophy? And the man said, I love philosophy. So long story short, I said, this book will help us to understand ourselves. Not only that, but what is the goal of life and how to move away from these mental agonies like stress and anxiety. And then I said one word, and he got really emotional. And I said, depression. And then he said, I've been suffering from depression for a lot of years. And I said, the reason why is because you don't know what the goal of life is. You don't know what the meaning of life is. And he stayed quiet. And then the family, they were just looking at him like, what is he going to do next? So I handed them the books, and I said, please just read these books and read it as a family. Your family will grow together spiritually. And he appreciated that. And so he said, can I give you a donation? And I said, if you can, that'll be wonderful. So he gave $20 for the stack of books. And then I also gave him the Bhagavad Gita. I said, these books, they will make references to this book. So it's nice to have it in hand. And he shook my hand. And as he was walking away, I can tell he was reading parts of the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. And so I'll end here. Are there any questions or comments? Yes, Dravida Prabhu.
You mentioned about playing a little tape so that at least I get to hear the name.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember this. I think you were here when we read the 6th canto in Chitraketu.
Mm-hmm.
You remember him? So there's one verse that I was startled because you hear so much about, there's quite a few verses that describe if you just chant the name one time, you get purified, But this one is about you just hear the name one time. And these verses, I like to chant shlokas. I can never figure out the meter of these verses. These are the most. But this line, here's the line. He's offering his prayer. Now, this is Chitraketu. After he realized Sankirtan, he chanted this mantra that Nārada Muni gave him for 7 days, and he realizes Sankirtan. And now he's offering his own prayers here. So here's how the line goes. Yannama sakrit chavanat pukkashov vimuchyate sangsarat. Which means, by once hearing the holy name, sakrit means once, and shavanat means hearing. Pukkasho are the lowest class, even the lowest class, be liberated from the entanglement of the material existence. Prabhupada's translation, what to speak of seeing you personally, merely by hearing the holy name of your lordship only once, even chandalas, men of the lowest class, are freed from all material contamination. So this is a very nice encouragement for Harinam, or for doing what you're doing, playing the holy name there. Even once little, sometimes I go on my walk and these homeless people. By the way, that one gentleman who we always see, he's right around the corner on the temple. He's got a little cubby hole, he's a homeless guy. And, he used to look away from me and he was like, all right, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And so now, then he gave me this little thing that you showed me what it was. This little red thing, I said, what is this, some drug thing or something? What is he giving me here? So I showed him, no, you then pull it out and you blow bubbles with it. He didn't know what to give me, so he gave me that. Then the next day he gave me these little candy canes, I said, okay. So now he's giving me Hare Krishna,
Filipino guy?
Huh?
Filipino guy?
The guy right around the corner?
At the pet store?
At the pet store. Yeah. I don't know if he's Filipino or not, but he's always there. That's his home,
Mm-hmm.
So now he's giving me Hare Krishna. You too?
Yeah, I walk by there on my way here. He says, Hare Krishna. Hey, sister, Hare Krishna.
So it just shows, at first he was just ignoring me. Then he would give him scowling at me. Mm-hmm. Then I would just say, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And then he started giving me, gifts, And now as soon as I say Hare Krishna, he says, Hare Krishna. So it's working. Maybe I'll take a little book out and I'll give it to him. A Spanish book. We have Spanish books. Right? So thank you for your...
So when they hear the holy name, especially from a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada, there will be potency in there. Mm-hmm. Anyone else? Okay. Thank you for your time and attention. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.